Told you I was going to do it.
Oh, dear me.
I don't know if that's my Sill impression or my Sylvester McCoy.
I think that should just be our cold open.
What better cold open is there? Ah, you may begin.
Hello. Hello, welcome to Not Another Who podcast. I'm your host, Sam Morrell.
And I'm your co-host, Christopher Hyde.
Hello, Chris. How are we doing this week?
You know what? Interesting. We picked pretty much 3 out of 4 good episodes. I mean, I know we're doing the retrospective, but to be fair, I enjoyed this one. Probably better than last week.
Yeah, it's a good stretch of episodes.
Almost, but we'll get there.
Yeah.
How's your week? Done much?
Work.
Work.
Who likes
working on your own stuff? Working on stuff for others? Doing here, there, everywhere?
Well, my day job. That's boring, but
everyone's day job's boring.
Yeah. I wish this was our day job.
Subscribe. Make it our day job.
Please do.
I'm just going to heavily promote this. This is the episode of promotion. Subscribe for more content. Oh.
Subscribe. Is there any news this week then?
To be fair, as we are recording the 22nd of March, I was going to say the 22nd of the 3rd, technically, yeah. We had some episode titles drop this evening. You can always put it in the edit, but I will read out the episode titles. Shall we do it? Shall we go one by one and talk about them, or shall I read them all out and then we'll talk then?
You read them out.
Okay, so episode 1 of season 2 or series 15 or series 40 whatever will be The Robot Revolution, written by Russell T Davies and directed by Peter Hoare. I don't know how to say that without a straight face. Episode 2 will be Lux, It's called Lux, written by Russell T Davies and directed by Amanda Brocci. Episode 3 is called The Well. It's written by Russell T Davies and Sharma Angel Wolfall, and also directed by Amanda Brocci. Episode 4 is titled Lucky Day, and it's written by Pete McTeague and directed again by Peter Hoare. The 5th episode is called The Story and the Engine. Written by Inua Allams and directed by Michaela McPherson. Episode 6 is the Interstellar Song Contest, original title. Written by Juno Dawson and directed by Ben A. Williams. And then we get into the penultimate episode, episode 7, Wish World, written by Russell T Davies and directed by Alex Sanjeev Pillali. And then we have the Borough of Hackney, the reality war. No, I'm joking. Episode 8 is The Reality War, written by Russell T Davies and again directed by Alex Sanjeev Pillali. So they are the 8 episodes over the 8 weeks that we have, starting from the 8th of April.
12th of April.
12th of April. I got it wrong. 12th of April. I was thinking 8 and 8 for some reason. Silly me. Really balls that one up. So yeah, those are some interesting titles. Shall we discuss?
Yeah, the robot
Remembrance of the
revolution.
robots.
Remembrance of the robots.
Revolution of the relevation of the robots. Resurrection of the. Yes, the
Yeah,
robot revolution.
I've heard about that one. That's the only one that got announced before the all 8 episodes got announced, wasn't it?
I think it was leaked. I think someone
Was
on
it
Reddit
leaked?
leaked the title. I mean, it's quite a bland title, to be honest. It's something that you'd
Yeah,
find in like pulp fiction sci-fi books.
yeah.
You know, I was thinking, and I saw this comment earlier, and I thought, what a great way to bring back another classic monster. They could have had it be a sequel to The Robots of Death.
Mhm.
You know,
Yeah.
that would have been an interesting story and would have brought back those K robots, V robots. You know the ones I'm talking about, the gold
Yeah,
and
I
black
know the
and
one.
silver.
The yeah.
Iconic design, and they deserve to come back in some form. But unfortunately, we're going to have bulky, like cyberpunk kind of robots, the kind of ones that you
Mm,
saw in the Husbands of River song. Those kind of robots.
yeah. I was trying to think where have I seen them robots before, and
Mm.
it's from that episode.
Yeah, and it's a bit of a shame because it's kind of recycling the same idea. Like I personally don't think much to it, because I think it'll just be a standard robots are taking over, Doctor has to stop them kind of affair.
Yeah.
Um
Yeah.
so Yeah, sorry.
It's just your standard opener for a series. I think it's probably not going to be anything special. It's just going to be like your standard opener fare kind of vibe.
I mean, if it's anything better than Space Babies was, it's doing
Uh,
good. But I
it's
don't have
doing
any.
great.
Yeah, I don't have any hopes for it though. I don't think it will be good at all. I'm not expecting world class reviews.
Yeah, I'm not expecting it to be like classic, but we haven't seen anything yet, so
Lux is interesting. Lux is the cinema
yeah.
one, the 1950s
Mm,
vibe.
that's the one I am actually looking forward to.
Mm.
Is Lux. It's probably
It's
the only
always
one
good
I'm
when they
looking
go
forward
back in
to.
time. Yeah. And I think because of the
Mm,
story, because of the idea, it could be good, but it is Russell T Davies at the helm, and you know, we've seen uh we've seen how things go with his current crop of writing. So again, optimistically cautious, but
yeah,
yeah.
but I'm actually looking forward to that one. That's
I
the
mean,
only
it's got Alan Cummings
highlight.
in it. Yeah.
Yeah, and he did a great performance in as James the First in the Witchfinders. That's a relatively good episode,
And he did an
considering it.
even better performance in the Air Zone solution.
Oh yeah. Oh my god.
That was a career-defining performance, going from
Yeah.
James Bond to a relatively obscure piece of knockoff Doctor Who spin-off sludge.
Um, that was actually before he became Boris in Boris in GoldenEye. It was like
Wow,
two,
that's even
two,
worse.
2 years before. Well, you have to start somewhere. David Tennant started in a smoking film, like short film. Have
That
you ever
is
seen
true.
it?
I have, yes. It's very funny. It's it's probably the best anti-smoking advert because it makes it look really uncool. You can't get worse than a few, scraggy Scottish children going, "The cigarette? Do you want a cigarette? Great, have a cigarette.
Oh dear me.
Don't smoke. It's bad for your lungs."
Yeah, they had some thick um Scottish accents in that film. Uh
can't can't get over that. That's probably my worst accent ever.
yeah, I'm no good at doing a Scottish accent.
um, so the well, that's episode thrice. We don't know much about that one, and there's
Yeah,
nothing being revealed about it. So I'm guessing it's the one. I don't know actually. That's an
I wouldn't.
unknown. I wouldn't even be able
Yeah,
to figure out from the trailer.
I don't know how or where to start on that episode.
No.
Um, yeah,
The Lucky Day or Lucky Day, Pete McTeague's episode.
yeah, Pete and
That's
Pete.
that's That's the one with Millie Bobby, not Millie Bobby Brown, Millie Gibson. I wish. I mean, she would elevate the performance of Doctor Who. No, it's the one with Millie Gibbs.
Millie Gibbs.
Gibbers.
Gibbers. Yeah, what do we know about that one?
Well, judging from the teaser, and obviously edit in clips from the teaser as you go, obviously, if you want, it's got loads of like newspaper clippings and just a poster of her. So something about Unit. So obviously Unit's involved. Surprise, surprise. But don't know. Could that be the spider one? Maybe.
Maybe, yeah. Well, as long as it doesn't have Poundland Hitler in it.
Trump. Oh, for us.
Trump, yeah.
Don't know what you mean. They're all Poundlands. They're all cheap knockoffs of themselves.
You know, that episode from Series 11.
Oh, with Jack Thingamabob.
Yeah.
Guy from Sex and the City who was a very problematic person.
Yeah. Him.
Yeah. No, I think he's dead.
Yeah. Yeah, the what's that episode called? Arachnos in the UK.
Car.
That episode.
Yes. Yeah, so it could be a sequel to that one.
Could be. I hope not.
Probably. Well, they look like mutated spiders, so I'm hoping they're from Metabilis 3.
Hopefully. That'd be nice. But
Well, you know, yeah, it's got Unit, it's got spiders. Slap them together, you've got a John Pertwee episode.
yeah, but without John Pertwee.
No, without the good man himself. So the story and the engine. What do we think about that? When I first saw it, I thought Thomas the Tank Engine. I just thought it was going to be a crossover episode, and I was like, "Oh gosh, not another crossover with a
Evil Thomas the
struggling
Tank
British
Engine.
IP."
It's still going, isn't it?
It is. It's now animated, so I guess they could, CGI Thomas in there. Just pretend that's Thomas.
Yeah. Well, Postman Pat has a helicopter.
That is true. And Fireman Sam has a lot going for him. He has cuts to his services, so you can't get Fireman Sam anymore. The fire station closed down. There wasn't enough people to keep it open. I'm not going to get political. Or I might. I would have preferred the title to be called The Story Engine, because that sounds like an interesting title. But the story and the engine just it's like
Yeah.
I'm hoping it's good.
I'm hoping it's good as well. I'm hoping that all of these are good, but judging from the last series,
just don't set your expectations too high.
Yeah, the only one I'm looking forward to is Lux. That's it.
Yeah. Well, I Yeah, I agree. Lux. Just want to see what happens. The Interstellar Song Contest. I wish they came up with a better title, personally.
It's just bland.
It is bland. I mean, most of these titles are just bland.
Yeah.
Without knowing a synopsis or anything. They just sound like words, really. But the
No,
Interstellar Song Contest has Ryland in it, who for some reason is a celebrity worth talking about. I would have
yeah.
preferred Graham Norton, or if they'd,
Yeah,
resurrected Terry
Grey
Wogan, but
Norton.
I just think they should resurrect Terry Wogan, reanimate him.
Yeah. And what they did it to what's his name? Alec
Peter
Guinness.
Cushing. Oh,
Oh no, yeah, Peter Cushing, not Alec
yeah.
Guinness.
So yeah, that's the one by Juno Dawson, who did the Doctor Who Redacted series. Still haven't read it or listened or whatever, but apparently it's good. So I'm expecting their episode to be good.
Wow, I listened to the podcast and it's like meh. I
Is
turned
it
it
all
off
right?
after I turned it off after 5 minutes, couldn't get into it.
That speaks for itself.
Maybe I'm just the wrong demographic, I don't know.
I mean, you're a Doctor Who fan. You're kind of the prime demographic, let's be honest.
Maybe. I
But,
don't know.
they're always trying to court the younger generation. Wishworld. Wishworld actually does sound interesting. And I think the
Hmm.
premise is going to be around sort of like a 73 yards kind of idea, with like the
Yeah.
fairy circles and stuff.
Hmm.
So I'm hoping, but is Russell T Davis again at the helm? So again, don't expect good things. And then, oh, it's weird because we're talking about like after news, we've got a really good conversation topic, and here we are, 20 years on from the first broadcast of New Who, and anyway,
We're
the
just
reality war. What do you think?
I'm hoping it's better in Empire of Death.
Probably not. Do you think it's going to be like the Time War but bigger? And how can you do the Time War but bigger?
Yeah.
It frustrates me. It really does. Because the whole point of the Time War is it's so big of a concept that you can't put it on screen.
Mm.
So I just don't. And also the reality war. Russell, are you going through or have you hacked into my personal computer? Because those are that's my concept. Check out
Yeah,
reality blade.
he's copywriting.
Oh,
Uh, it's all copyright basically. You
he's
can prove
stealing
it.
my IP. I can. I will in a court of law. No, but he is basically stealing my concept. Oh, and then Russell says, excitement mounts as the new season gets closer. and there's nothing a Doctor Who fan loves more than facts. So here's a whole bunch of them with titles and writers, everything you need to get ready for transmission. But we don't have any blurbs, we don't have any synopses, we don't know what we don't know what these words mean, basically. And I hate this whole hush hush nature of TV shows nowadays, because back in 2001, 2005. Sorry, not going that. I'm not. Let's leave 2001. Back in 2005, you would at least get an episode synopsis. You would understand what episode is what. So I just don't like the fact that we're just getting the titles, getting the people who wrote and directed them, but we're not getting any other substance. Come on, Russell. We need substance. We can't just have you tricking us again. That's my rant of the episode.
These titles don't really explain anything, really, do they? Except for episode 6.
I think with these titles, the concept is interesting. The story in the engine sounds okay, but there's nothing. It just sounds like words. It's like, what is it about the story in the engine, or what is it about Wish World? What is it about the well? Lux, at least we know what we're getting ourselves into. It's something about a cinema. It's something about films or cartoons. We know vaguely what we're getting ourselves into, but everything else just doesn't. And in Interstellar Song Contest, we know how Doctor Who fans feel about musical numbers. Why are you doing this? No one asked.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's the news. That is Series 2 titles have been released.
There's another bit of news though.
Oh,
on Monday, there's gonna be another animation getting released.
Pardon me. Yeah, we've got, what episode is it?
The Savages.
Oh, are we going to see a special review from yours truly?
You may not.
Oh, okay. Oh, I won't get my hopes up then. No, I look forward to it.
We shall
because
see.
it's the animated episode, but they're doing a black and white version and a color version like they did previously. And the animation style looks significantly better than the Celestial Toymaker.
Oh yeah. Wow. Yeah. It's not as good as Macra Terror or the Power of the Daleks or the Moon Base. If you ever seen that animation. The Invasion, that is like
excellent.
It's God tier.
I saw the Macra Terror recently. Well, I say recently, it was over Christmas, but I saw the Macra Terror and that was a good animated special episode. But yeah, Savages. Yeah, that is interesting.
Yeah, we'll review it in depth one day. I don't know when, but sometime in the future.
You could suggest us when, if you want to see a Savage's review, leave a comment down below.
Down that in that comment bit.
A box of infinite unsettling possibilities.
So if you want us to review the Savages, just comment.
Now's your chance. Don't waste it. Anyway, so is that the news? Is that everything we've, got to discuss news-wise?
Yes.
So, shall we get into the meat and potatoes of this review? Of this episode?
Yes, we shall.
Well, yeah.
Well, we've got episode 5. World War Three.
Yes, it is episode 5. World War Thrice.
Thrice.
The good thing about our Series 1 retrospective, I think for me, is I am enjoying the fact that I'm actually seeing a well-written show for once. Just gonna
Not
leave
like,
that hanging.
yeah.
Because,
I'm just gonna.
a lot of people, sorry, a lot of people seem to dislike the Slitheen episodes. And I can understand to an extent because, there are farting monsters but it's actually quite an interesting concept.
Yeah. It is an interesting concept. You got over all the the silliness. Under all the silliness, I mean, you got um quite a serious invasion. Like, you do get a bit of like political satire and the
Mm-hmm.
government response to the crisis. Um,
And Tony Blair's
and
died.
yeah, they
Tony
shoved him
Blair's
in
just
a
been stuffed into
wardrobe.
Yeah. Couldn't have happened to a more deserving politician.
Wow.
Anyway. I mean, his replacement
We're not
wasn't great, let's be honest. I'm not saying Gordon Brown, I'm saying the guy in the episode, the farting alien.
what's his name? Mr. Green.
Mr. Green.
Is it Mr. I forgot his last name. First name. Mr. Green. I'll just call him Mr. Green.
Philip. Oh, wait, no, that's a different.
Philip Green.
Doesn't matter. If you don't get the joke, it'll fly over your head. Joseph Green.
Joseph Green. That's it. I can
And the
stop
actor was
calling him
David
Mr.
Very.
Green.
Well, to be honest,
I've
you don't really hear his name.
no. Just no, you don't really.
Well,
Do you
he's
think
still
the
acting, though.
Slovene? Yeah, still acting. Do you think the Do you think the Slovene were effective villains or were too comical?
Right. they had a great plan for world-ending stakes. It wasn't just I'm going to destroy the world, ha ha ha, because that concept has been done to death, and we
Yeah.
know that. Well, we know that the Earth's not going to be destroyed because it can't be. So they had a really good concept of we're destroying the world not because we want to rule it, but because we want to use its resources for, it's basically like an oil tycoon kind of allegory. It's the energy consumption. It's that kind of thing. It's a very good
Mm.
concept, and let's be honest, they were very, very, very close to getting the nuclear codes. The only bits that slip up on is, yes, they do come across a little bit too comical, but you've got to understand that you do have to appeal to a broad range, so you do have to have something for the kids.
Hmm.
And they don't really provide any proof apart from the spaceship crashing. They don't provide any proof of an alien attack. So
Yeah.
it kind of feels a bit silly that the United Nations would go, "Oh yeah, that spaceship crashed, so we're going to give you the nuclear codes." It's like, no, that's not how things work, mate. Get your facts right.
Mm.
And they don't show. Uh, Obviously, they can't, but I don't understand how Margaret Blaine could have survived. I think when we get to the Boomtown rewatch, I'll need to understand that because I can't remember Boomtown.
No, I can't remember it either. It's been such a long time since I've seen that episode. Um, and the legacy of the two-parters, which have like vanished after like series 12, 13.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah. Well, sorry.
they kind of like have a series of like one-parters, then they go back to the two-parters, then they just yeah. I kind of like the two-part episodes, which ends on like a cliffhanger. I think they really need to go back to them stories, and
Mm.
I think they really hold up.
Well, if you've got 8 episodes in a series, it would be a bit meaningless to not have a two-parter. And you could split it up and have maybe 2 or 3 two-parter episodes, but maybe, split them along so it's not
Mm,
just. I think with series one had a very good balance of their two-parters because for the first 3 episodes, there's no two-parters. Then you've got episodes 4 and 5 that are a two-parter, and then episodes 9 and 10 are two-parter, and then 12, 13. They space them out very
mm,
well.
yeah.
With And I think, I know the BBC can't afford it nowadays. I don't know why people are still paying their TV licenses, or even, let's be honest, why are we paying for media? Because it's getting more and more expensive and we're getting diminishing returns. Regardless, the way Doctor Who used to 20 years ago space out their two-parters so it wasn't just back-to-back two-parters. You had a little episode or two
Mm,
episodes in between. That was good. And nowadays, you kind of get a two-parter here, two-parter there. I mean, last series, that two... Oh, gosh. I spent money on tickets to go see it in the cinema.
Mm.
I saw Empire of Death in the cinema. I wasted
How much
money.
how much did you pay?
£20.
£20.
Yeah. It's not a cheap cinema. We don't have cheap cinemas around here. Unfortunately, I live
Yeah.
in a tourist town and we have expensive cinemas.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I got to bring in a meal deal though, so it wasn't all bad.
Yeah, I don't buy cinema food anymore because it's way too expensive.
Well, I don't eat popcorn, but for a tub of popcorn, you're looking at like £8. Why? Just so they can
Mm.
make a good markup on them, you know?
Yeah.
But
I do
yeah,
like the
it's sorry.
I was just gonna say I do like the nachos, so
Oh, see, you wouldn't get nachos at my cinema. They'd see it as commoner food.
uh
I'm
is
not
it
going to say the
caviar?
cinema chain. It's pretty close to caviar. They
Well,
sell champagne by the bottle. That's that. Yeah, yeah. Um, they knocked down our cheapest cinema, and now it's just a pile of rubble. They've done nothing. It's
oh,
been like
they knocked
5
it
years.
down.
Yeah, we had a cheap cinema called Picture
Yeah,
House.
I used to go to that cinema
The
back in the
greatest, the
day.
greatest place. Yeah, I saw Frozen 2. That was the last film I saw there. And I didn't see it because I was asleep. 'Cause it was 9 in the morning. But
Mm.
yeah, Picture House closed down about 5 years ago. Actually, maybe six. It was just before the pandemic. And then
Uh,
they knocked it down, and nothing has been built there since. And it's literally just a pile of rubble with some overgrown shrubberies. The Knights of Knee are scared of going there. um, that's a little Monty Python joke for you hardcore fans. But yeah, it's like, why do you want to waste money on getting back to our topic? Why would you want to spend money on a two-parter in a cinema when that two-parter is under-deliverable? It just didn't deliver. The first part is great. I do like Legend of Ruby Sunday.
mm,
Empire of Death is just a waste of time.
it's whippet shit.
Yeah. It's a waste of Gabriel Wolf, and he's not going to be around for much longer. And you got a classic Who actor to recreate to come back and do the voice, and you wasted him.
Yep.
Yeah. Anyway, sorry. My second rant of the episode is over. But yeah, I liked World War Three. I like the idea of Downing Street being invaded by aliens, and the aliens are so. I mean, the police chief is so incompetent. It makes the Met Police look good, you know.
Mm.
Um, that's. I'm trying not to get too political. But yeah, like the whole interplanetary war is an interesting concept, but I just don't think they delivered too much on that part. But I do like Penelope Wilton does a very good performance as Harriet Jones.
Oh yeah, she's
Thank you for
great.
Fly Down North.
Hmm. Where do you think constituency is? Do you think it's like a northern mining town, or
Oh no, she's a Tory.
you think she's a Tory?
She's a Tory. She's Tory coded. I think it's probably somewhere just outside London, cozy constituency with NIMBYs galore.
It's somewhere where I live, basically.
Yeah, yeah. It's down south. It's like Billericay area, you know,
Or Surrey Heath.
or Surrey Heath. Yeah. Um, but she does go on to be prime minister, albeit for a short time, not as short as some female prime ministers we've had, but she did. You know, she was somewhat there,
Hmm.
but she does a really good performance, and it's great to have good actors in them. And I think Noel Clarke, yes, okay, let's not dwell on his personal life, but he does act very well in this episode as Mickey. Mickey actually does something, honorable, and does actually gain the Doctor's respect. That's very good.
Hmm.
I liked that character growth.
Yeah, before he becomes the Tin Dog.
Yes, before the Tin Dog.
Yeah.
Andrew Marr. Andrew Marr. He's not aged in 20 years, has he?
Oh, he hasn't, has he? He's just like
I was thinking
I
that
see
when I
him.
was
I
watching
see him
it.
today. He's just not aged at all.
No, I mean he looks as ancient as he does now. He looks old and decrepit like the Crypt Keeper from Tales from the Crypt. But he, like 20 years ago, he looked exactly the same. So for some reason, he's like Skeletor embodied, and
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, he's not. Yeah, he's not aged at all, really. Um,
Um,
in 20 years.
and then we've got Annette Badland, who also does very fine performance of the mustache twirling villainess. Although she is better
Yeah,
in Boomtown, but
yeah, I do like her in Boomtown. What I can remember of it.
But yeah,
We'll get
I
to.
don't really have much more to sort of say on World War Three. It is good, It's I do like this two-parter. I will defend it. It is watchable. It is interesting. It is fun. It didn't. I wasn't bored. I was actually bored
No,
of not the next episode, but the episode after. Um, but I do like World War Three.
hmm. Yeah, it's looking on it um today, I have softened on it. At the time, I was like,
Mm.
"Oh, what are these farting aliens all about?" Oh, because I was just a stroppy teenager back then. So now I like I just find it a great episode, to be honest.
It is. It's fantastic because it just does everything you want from a classic Who. It actually does feel like it would kind of sit well in the 80s. You could kind of see that.
Yeah,
I could see it
yeah,
being
I
a
think
McCoy episode.
yeah, I could see it being a McCoy episode because it has
Hmm.
that political satire, um,
Mm.
like
That edge
the
to it.
happiness, yeah, like the Happiness Patrol and Paradise Towers, them kind of
Mm.
stories.
The good McCoys. The real
Yeah, the good
McCoy.
McCoys, the real McCoy. Yeah.
Right. Now the episode we've all been waiting for. And especially Sam, because he just keeps messaging me about wanting to talk about this. So
Just love it.
I'll hand over to you.
Wow, Dalek was written by Robert Shearman. I really wish Robert Shearman um, wrote more Doctor Who episodes. He's such a great
Definitely.
writer. Um,
He fits so well in the show, doesn't he?
yeah, he really does. I think RTD is missing something here. He he, he knows how to structure a good Doctor Who episode. I don't know why he wasn't used later on. Did you know this was based on his Big Finish episode?
Yes. Yeah. So Jubilee, was it, with the Colin Baker?
Yes, yes, Jubilee. Such a good story. Um, it
I have to admit, I
reintroduced the.
haven't. Sorry.
No, no, you go.
I was gonna say I have to admit that I've only listened to the scene where the Sixth Doctor meets that Dalek. Basically the same scene that you get in Dalek, but with the Doctor and Eccleston and the Dalek. Um
Mm.
so I actually haven't listened to the Big Finish, but I would definitely like to give that a review, pardon me, at some point, and actually compare how the original story holds up to the adapted story.
I think they both hold up very well. Um, I haven't heard Jubilee in um, quite a long time, so I will have to give it another listen. Um, yeah, Dalek reintroduces the Daleks for a modern audience, and it does
Mm,
it fantastically. It was such a success. You get kids in the playground going exterminate um, once again.
yeah, this was my
Um,
introduction to Doctor Who as well.
would you go and exterminate in the playground?
I have to admit, I think because this was the episode I jumped on, I don't remember watching Rose. I don't remember I think I had to re-watch those.
Mm,
Um, because I do remember Dalek, and I remember every episode vividly after Dalek.
mm,
And so this was the first pretty much Doctor Who monster I had been exposed to. And it was, to the best of my knowledge, just one of the greatest episodes, or one of the greatest things I'd ever seen.
mm. It,
Not even because of the concept, but because the Daleks actually do feel terrifying. It feels like a threat. It doesn't. feel like you're waiting for the Doctor to come in and use some contraption that he built off screen and never talked about and just waves them away. There is a credible threat, and you see how anything they try and do to stop it doesn't work. It's a very tight episode. It's very tightly structured. It's got a very steady pace. It doesn't. I mean, the first 8 minutes, it really sets the tone. Really goes for it.
And I don't think the Daleks were that much of a threat after series 1 ever again. I don't think.
Well, they lost their threatening appeal after series 1. They just became the lampshade, or they just became this insert big threat here.
Yeah. I think bringing them back every series then on, it kind of lost their edge they had in series 1 and before.
Yes.
With Classic Who, they had like as big as a 5-6 year gap. With New Who, it's been like every series up to series
Up to the latest.
Yeah, the latest one.
Pretty much up until the 60th anniversary, I'd say.
Yeah, up to the 60th anniversary. We need to talk about the powerhouse of Christopher Eccleston's acting in this episode.
Yes.
It's
We
so good. That scene between the Doctor and the Dalek, it just gives me chills just thinking about it.
I do have just one criticism of the entire episode. Do you want to know what it is?
Go on.
So before the Dalek is touched by Rose, it shows empathy. Now, obviously, we have seen in certain episodes of the classic series, there are some Daleks that have shown some slight empathetic natures, but for an absolute killing machine, you kind of make the case that they don't have empathy, because that's the whole point of them. They're not meant to be empathetic. They're meant to just be killers. So I do feel like in that scene, I don't necessarily like the empathetic nature it has up until... I think when Rose touches it, that's where the empathy should have come in. That's my only criticism. If I were to rewrite Dalek, I'd have it so it was justified in its nature up until when Rose touches it, and then it starts to question its motivations. Because that would have been a really good philosophical idea of, imagine you're so stuck in your ways, and imagine you see something, or you're exposed to something, and that makes you empathetic.
Yeah.
I just thought that was an interesting concept.
Well, we have seen the Daleks manipulate situations in the past, like in Power of the Daleks. They scheme their way through that story.
That is true.
Maybe that's them being very sly and manipulative.
So yeah, if you put that kind of lens onto this episode, maybe the Dalek was showing empathy in that moment because it was trying to
Yeah,
get something.
yeah.
I guess, yeah, you could read it like that. Yeah.
That's my
Um,
angle on that.
hmm. I know Eccleston said in interviews, like going forward from this episode, he's always said that this episode was the one that he found one of the most interesting to do.
Hmm.
And I think that's because he really does have to show his range, just his darker side more.
Hmm.
And I guess as a new Who, if you're jumping onto the series, you don't understand really why the Doctor hates this creature so much. So the older fans would go, just kill the Dalek. What are you doing? Just kill it. But the new Who fans, the people that jumped on that series, are going, don't kill the Dalek. That creature doesn't deserve to die. Yeah, it killed a few people, but it's angry.
Hmm.
You know, you've got to. So it's interesting because you could have opened up a bit. There could have been a better debate around the philosophy of this creature, because the Daleks, yeah, their primary motivation is to kill. But when a Dalek
Yeah.
has started showing empathy or has human DNA weaved into it, what does it become? It's an interesting concept for sure. And it would be one that I think only Robert Sherman would be the best to tackle. And
Yeah.
for a 20-year design, it still holds up, the
Yeah.
Dalek.
It definitely holds up 20 years later. Um. Yeah.
And we've got a great villain in this episode, Elon Musk. Oh, no, sorry, Henry Van Statten. Sorry. I thought it was Elon Musk for a second, but no, he wasn't. He wasn't in. Or I know. Sorry. Yeah, Henry Van Statten. Um, although you could say that Robert Sherman did predict Elon Musk. Yeah, I know it's 2012, but he says he owns the internet. What does Musk own? X
Twitter. X.
or Twitter. Um, and the fact that all like the bit where the Doctor's saying all you want to do is drag the stars down and put them in a box or whatever. I mean, that is
Mm.
basically what SpaceX is. It's not human exploration. It's just a byword for let me take over whatever.
Mm.
Let's pull the stars down. And yeah, it's a very good allegory for these
Catalog them.
billionaire types. Catalog them, yeah. Um, and I just thought that was a really interesting, because I did see a lot of Elon Musk in his character. You know, the
Yeah.
sliminess, the despicable nature. I'm trying not to get political, but hear me out. Let me cook, as they say, as the young kids say. Um, yeah, you can really see similarities between these archetypes of evil, and the fact that, by the end of the episode, Van Statten hasn't learned anything. He hasn't learned a lesson, and he gets his just dessert, like any bad person should, really. And Diana Goddard takes over as the heiress of the empire.
Mm.
And we never see anything of her again. I think that would be an interesting character to bring back.
Yeah. it'd be an interesting sequel, wouldn't it?
Mm.
See where
No.
what she's been cooking up.
Well, you could literally do a sequel to Dalek and a sequel to the Space Museum.
The Space Museum, yeah, I know.
Or a prequel to the Space Museum. Maybe the Space Museum was set up by Diana Goddard.
Mm. Or we could
I'm
do
just
a
saying.
requel.
A requel? A prequel.
Yeah,
A
a requel.
pre-sequel.
Um, let me get the definition up. Uh, it's an actual word. A requel is a movie that is revisited the
Oh, okay.
subject matter of an earlier film, but is neither a remake or a continuation of its plot.
So it's like a pre-sequel. It's set before, but it's sequeling. But yeah, okay, I get you. A
Yeah,
requel. Interesting. Yeah, I
yeah,
think this episode is probably the only Doctor Who New Who episode that you could really tie into classic Who.
yeah. I,
And
I
then
think
we've
it could
got
be an
oh, sorry.
yeah. I think it could be an interesting concept.
I definitely think so. And then we've got in this episode we have Bruno Langley playing Adam Mitchell. Do we want to open up that can of worms?
No, we don't.
No, he's bad, bad character, bad actor.
Yeah,
Really lets the hot streak of series one really does grind to a halt with him.
yeah. I'm glad the Doctor dropped him off after the next episode. I'm just like, oh,
If I had
God.
written the Ninth Doctor, if I had written the long game, I would have stranded him in space.
You
I would have done him.
suck
I
him
would
out
have
the
done
next,
a trick.
suck him out the next airlock, the nearest airlock.
I would have blown up Satellite 5 with him on it.
Uh, and then we won't see the foreshadowing of Bad Wolf. Then
I mean, that's a price willing to pay. Let's be honest. We've had the bad wolf seeds being planted already. Who's gonna miss a bit of I don't know offhand dialogue saying bad wolf? It's like uh just Adam Mitchell annoys me. Even when I was watching it, even as a child, I didn't like him. He's
no,
just
nor
so
did I.
unlikable. Like, you think Adric's bad? Adam Mitchell's
Oh,
bad?
Adric's more likable than Adam Mitchell.
Yeah. At least Adric had something going for him. He was a maths genius. What's Adam Mitchell? Just a whiny brat who gets his head split open.
Yeah, yeah. We're
Chris's
never.
run to the episode. On a street
Yeah,
tonight.
yeah. We're not gonna see him ever again. I'm glad about
No,
that.
but he did make a comics appearance, though.
Did he?
He did.
Oh,
So the Doctor Who,
when?
whoever runs Doctor Who comics, really does like scraping the bottom of the barrel. Because let me try and get this up. Mitchell, Doctor Who comic. Yeah. So, whoever runs the Doctor Who comics, please stop. Please just stop. You're getting to the level of like you're just getting to the level of like Marvel comics at this point. But
Yeah.
so after he was dropped off in the long game, years after being abandoned by the Doctor, Adam plotted to kidnap various companions from multiple incarnations of the Doctor with the Tremus Master. However, when the Master made a plot to destroy the universe, Adam sacrificed his life to stop him and was buried with honours. Why?
Why?
Discuss.
Why do they? Why? Why do they have to bring him back? Even in comic book form.
Yeah. I don't know. I really don't know. Yeah, he was just yeah. I don't understand. He like oh gosh. I've just went on to his Wikipedia. Let's not. Yeah, just a really down point of series one. You know, sex offender central right here.
Are we
We've had
allowed to
Noel
say that
Clark.
on YouTube?
Just bleep it out. We've had Noel Clark,
Yeah, I'm gonna.
Bruno Langley, and John Barrowman. Oh, all men, surprisingly.
So I said some genocidal maniac before. I might bleep him out as well.
What, Elon Musk? Oh, no, sorry. Oh, okay. Let's get on. So, yeah, I like the majority of this episode. It does stand up. The bit with the Dalek shooting the soldiers in the rain, very Blade Runner-esque, in my opinion. It's like
Yeah,
tears
it
in the
is.
rain. Except the Dalek can't cry. Although, don't you find it weird how the soldiers were wearing rubber shoes and they managed to get electrocuted? Or is that just me overthinking the science a bit?
Maybe, maybe not.
I
I don't
think
know.
I need to. Sometimes I need to get rid of the overthinker in my head and just sort of enjoy the episode, enjoy the ride. But yeah, it just felt like to me they were wearing rubber gloves or they were wearing rubber on them. So surely electricity is absorbed by rubber or. But it was a cool scene, and the bit where the Dalek says, you would make a good Dalek was good.
Yeah, that was good.
And the bit where the Doctor's like, why don't you just die?
Yeah, with a bit of spit on his chin.
Yeah.
I always see the little.
The spittle that comes out of him.
Yeah.
The acting prowess on screen right there. Yeah, that was intense scene between them, but that just adds to the adds to the good stuff. And then you've got Rose understanding the level of threat, but she does come across as very empathetic to the Dalek in this episode.
Yeah.
So it's nice to see a companion actually see both sides, even though it's a genocidal war machine.
Yeah,
I'm
well,
not defending the
she's never like experienced the Daleks before, so she kind of has a. I don't know where I'm going with this one.
Also, just one little other criticism I have, and this isn't a massive criticism, it's more of a nitpick, if anything. Why does Henry Van Statten, Elon Musk, why does he have a cyber head from Revenge of the Cyberman?
Yeah, I don't know how he got that, unless
Surely, if he should have any cyber head, surely it should be the Invasion.
mm,
You'd think. I mean, if you just swapped it out, they had a invasion. I swear they had the prop in storage. So if they just tweaked it just a little bit, we could have even a Mondasian Cyberman, even if they had one of them from the 10th planet, because technically
mm,
Antarctica, they would have recovered that. That would have been a very good. I would if they had put a Mondasian Cyber man head in there, I would have gone absolutely nuts. I would have been like, "What is that thing?"
mhm. Um,
So that's just
maybe
my
it's a story. Maybe it's a story we've not seen before. So you know,
maybe, or maybe the events of Revenge of the Cybermen. Somehow it happened on Earth. You know, Vogos, Argos,
Bogan, Bo-
Vogan,
Boga, Boga,
Ro- Roga,
Boga.
Voga, Toga,
Yeah, I think Hoga.
Logopolis.
Or,
I don't know where we're going with this. I feel like I'm stuck
or
in a time loop.
Chronic Hysteresis.
Chronic Historicis Romana. um, shall we move on?
Yeah, let's move on.
Let's move. So,
The long game.
oh god,
You
it's
love
really
the
too
long
soon.
game, don't you?
I only like it for one thing, and that's
Simon
the
Pegg.
mighty Jagrafest could hit it. The mighty Jagrafest is oh yeah, just great. Great stuff. No, Simon Pegg. Yeah, you had the actor who would have gone on to be in the Mission Impossible films, and you stick him in a really bad episode. Oh, it's awful.
I think he was a Doctor Who fan anyway, wasn't he?
Yeah, yeah. I think they reference it in Spaced because he's got that spaced look. Obviously,
Yeah,
it was
sorry.
after they'd done they'd done Shaun of the Dead just before series one. So I think he'd done Shaun of the Dead and then dyed his hair for some reason to come on to do Doctor Who and play the editor. And there's an action
Mm.
figure I used to have of him. There was a Simon Pegg action figure. It was great.
I think I had a Scotty um action figure, the Simon Pegg version of
Oh,
Scotty.
imagine if they had both met, the editor and Scotty.
That would be great.
But yeah,
And then
sorry.
and then his character in Mission Impossible.
Did they make an action figure of him?
Oh no. I thought that don't matter.
I don't know what to talk about in for this episode because it was a slog to get through. It was a real, yeah. I
Yeah,
liked
it's
the
just
concept of the whole news owning the conversation and the
yeah,
whole satire around it.
yeah, the dangers of media manipulation and fake news, and which is very real
Prevalent.
today.
Mm. But the thing is, they didn't really do anything with that concept.
Yeah, they didn't do
'Cause,
much with it, did they?
well, the whole episode is them finding out what the station is, because it's basically Platform 1, but before
Mm.
Platform 1. So it's called Satellite 5 instead. Pardon me. And yeah, they've got it's about this news corporation, 600 tap channels. They reference the face of Bo from End of the World. But it's about media manipulation, but you don't really see any. It's just them. It's such a yeah. It's such a pointless episode that
Yeah,
the only highlight is the fact that Simon Pegg's in it and he's underused, and again another mustache twirling villain that you know um yeah, I don't really know what else to talk about in this one. It just wasn't that good. It was the first dud of the
yeah.
series in my opinion.
The the Jagger Fest was forgettable, I think.
Didn't really. I mean, he's stuck to the ceiling. He can't really do anything.
Yeah,
So
it's just
I
sucked.
just didn't. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Shall we
Yeah.
move on?
um. Father's Day by
Mm.
Paul Cornell, who
Now,
later,
Paul Cornell was he penned a couple of Doctor Who novels, didn't he?
yeah,
Is it
Human
the
Nature.
Virgin series? Was it
Yeah.
that series or the Target books?
Mm, no, it was the Virgin series.
Right. Yes, because he was one of the fans growing up who, yeah, wilderness
Yeah,
years.
yeah. You wrote Human Nature as
Yeah,
a novel,
really good
and
episode.
yeah,
I really
which
liked Father's Day.
mm,
I have to
it's a good
admit,
episode.
I like the
Um,
Groundhog Day aspect. Like, it wasn't
yeah,
really
same.
Groundhog Day. It was them going back to the same event, and then Rose creates a paradox. And the Reapers, I thought, eh, I mean, they didn't have to be CGI winged bat people. Oh wait, no, that's Krillitane. But they didn't have to be this CGI monster. I would have preferred it if it was like a Grim Reaper. If it was a
Mm,
bit more, hooded, cloaked, wielding scythes, that would have been interesting.
yeah,
Um, That's the only down point of the episode is the monsters really do look dated in this one. Like the CGI just doesn't look good at all.
Mm. Yeah, I've seen worse CGI, but you know, it's just okay. You know.
Well, it just doesn't look believable to like 2025 standards. It you can tell it just looks really artificial. There's not much
Yeah.
detail, and the the concept. I mean, the Reapers could have been fleshed out a little bit more. I loved the idea that the Doctor opens up the TARDIS and the TARDIS is not there.
Mm.
I swear that's never happened in Doctor Who before.
No, I don't think it has actually.
So that was a Doctor Who first.
Yeah.
Um, Rose and her dad had a really good, chemistry. Sean
Yeah, they
Dooley?
did.
Sean,
Uh,
what's his name? Oh, and it was directed by Joe Ahern, who did Dalek as well.
mm,
Uh,
Jabberhan
Sean
is a
Dingwall, that
good.
was it.
That's it.
Yeah, he
Yeah,
did a fantastic job in this one.
yeah. They had good chemistry in this episode. Um, between Pete and Rose. I
Mm.
really liked their performances.
And it's interesting because, you know, I really think this would have made a great episode, or you could have done something similar with Ruby Sunday.
Yeah.
Like it would have been interesting for her to have an episode like Father's Day.
Mm,
You know, if we're comparing series one and season one, then I think they should have had a Father's Day kind of episode. Maybe she does go to that moment, um, but the Doctor's like, oh no, we can't travel there. The plot will fall apart, and Russell T Davis's writing will just. Um,
yeah.
that's my impression of Shooty's Doctor. Um, but I would have liked an episode like this for Shooty's run. It's a shame that Russell wrote himself into a corner and yeah, but this was a really good way of showing how great Rose is as a companion, because it does show that yeah, she's human, she makes faults like we all do,
Mm.
and she'll admit
And
those, but she's only doing it because, in a vain way, in a self-interest way, yes, she wants to see her dad and wants to save his life and have more time with him. And it's really interesting that we do see them have more time together, but you know, time has to revert back to its original point. So,
mm,
him going and sacrificing himself to make sure the timeline doesn't break completely. It's a really interesting concept, and it's a really sad
yeah,
episode. It's very melancholic.
yeah. Um, um,
Don't know if you had any more
and it
to add.
and it. I just got one more thing to add. It adds another layer to Rose's character in this episode.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. And Jackie as well.
Yeah, and Jackie. Yeah. I
And
think
that's
that's
sorry.
I think that's everything I needed to say about this episode.
Well, I was just going to go back to my comparing, and you know, because this is sort of my as we're reviewing the entire series, my idea is to try and get an understanding of how Russell T Davies fell off the wagon, and how he went from writing one of the best series of Doctor Who to pretty much one of the worst.
Mm.
You know, I know you have a soft spot for some of Chibnall's episodes. I know you're a Capaldi fan. I know you do praise the classic series a lot, but I can't defend Shooty's first series. It doesn't stand up, and you know, by the time we get into his series, by the time it's funny because this episode is basically Empire of Death.
Mm.
You know, if we're going
Yeah.
by the new series, this would have been the finale. Now,
Mm.
you could have done the finale if instead of having Sutek, instead of having this world-ending villain, imagine having a Father's Day style finale. That would have been really good. That would have been really interesting. We would have seen maybe Millie wants to go back to when she was first abandoned, and she has such a traumatic experience reliving that moment that she decides to leave the
Mm.
TARDIS. That would have been really, really good. And we would have
Mm.
shown some character progression, you know. And it just
Yeah.
frustrates me that like the development of Rose is so perfect in series one that Millie Gibson just looks like it's just she's a cardboard cutout. She's just so one dimensional.
Mm. Yeah, I can't really defend that series, to be honest.
No, but like this is where I'm sort of saying is, we're seeing the stark contrast between like day and night. Series one,
Yeah.
it had to perform well, and then season one had it had the baggage of Jodie's era. Yes, okay, you can have your opinions. You either like her or you don't like her, or you blame her or you don't blame her, but you blame Chibnall, but irregardless, the general public were not all on board for Jodie's era. So when Shooty came along, it was all pretty much make or break. And
Mm.
we've seen them break. Now we need to see them make.
Yeah.
Um, Chris's rant of the episode 4, uh, over and done with. But it's why can't you bring Paul Cornell back?
Yeah, let him show run for a few
Yeah.
years.
Oh,
He'd
just
be
all
great.
Robert Sherman.
Yeah.
Maybe even like a duo partnership. Maybe they both show run and they do maybe 6 episodes each, so we get 12 episodes again.
Mm.
Or we bring
Or we
in
could get,
new writers and they
or we
overlook it.
can,
But
or we could get Pete McTeague.
Oh, just no, just bin him. Just stick him in the trash. Yeah, this is the thing, is it's so frustrating watching this series because I'm seeing the most talented British writer, or one of the most talented British writers we've got living right now, and we're seeing
Who-
how he can burn Doctor Who down. He can build Doctor Who up in one series and burn it down in the next. And it's just 20
Mm,
years difference. How can a writer fall so far down the drain in 20 years?
yeah. Wow. Um. Well.
Mic,
Do we?
mic drop.
Yeah. Mic drop. Uh. Yeah. I don't think we got anything else to go on that.
This is a really angry episode, I've just realised. I came in with a really good
Angry,
attitude.
angry and political.
Angry and political. How could it be any worse? Oh, God. Just welcome to Not Another Who podcast. We're the bad boys of Doctor Who discussion and debate. Oh, yeah. I need a drink after that.
Alcoholic or
Oh, just IV drip.
ginger pop. Anyway,
Mainline wine.
that's all. That's all we got time for now. Join us
That is
for episode 3 of this little arc we're going on.
not an arc in space.
Oh, arc in space.
Ah,
Um,
Ramada.
where we will be reviewing. I
Are
forgot
we
the
doing
order.
5 episodes or are we doing 4? Because we've got Empty Child, Doctor Dances, Boomtown, Bad Wolf, and Parting of the Vase. So are we going to do a part 3 or are we going to do part 3 and part 4?
No, we could.
Because we could do Empty Child to Boomtown and then do the finale as another part, or it's up to you because it'll be 5 episodes we'll be
Yeah,
doing, not 4.
that'd be a slog, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I think we could do what we could do. Because I'm just having a look at the calendar, and we've still got about 2 weeks away from. Still got about 2 weeks away from broadcast of Series 1. So we could either have a week off to recover and
We
maybe
could.
we could do the two-parter. We could do the Bad Wolf and Parting of the Ways after Series 2 airs.
Mm, yeah,
Or we could,
that's a shout. To be honest, yeah,
because I think that would be a good idea. I think that would be interesting.
yeah. Let's do
Leave,
that.
leave people in the lurch.
Leave people hanging. Yeah, so
Hmm.
we're gonna review. Um, the Doctor Dances, The Empty Child,
And Boomtown.
Boomtown. Yeah.
Pardon me.
Yeah, so
Sorry about that. Yeah,
tune in for that.
that will be next week, and then we have an 8-episode stretch of new season coming out. So we'll
I'm looking-
probably be taking a week just before, taking a week off. So don't expect anything on the first week of April.
April.
But we will. Shall we do it live or shall we? No. Let's not do it. Do it live.
We'll do it live if you want. Live. What's that from?
We'll do it live.
Oh, I know. It's from Family Guy. It's from Family Guy, isn't it?
We'll do it live. Just insert a clip of that here.
If I can find it.
So yeah, we'll starting from the 5th of April, not 5th. Starting from the 12th of April, we will be streaming live every Saturday for 8 weeks. So stay tuned for that. Yeah. I'm looking forward to it. I am reluctant on series 2, but I am cautiously optimistic. So I am hoping that we live stream and we have something good to say instead of me getting overly political and stressed out by Russell T Davies dropping the significant ball of Doctor Who show running.
Yeah. Anyway, that's all we got time for this week. Join us for them 3 episodes next week.
Yes, and if you would like to support us, support what we do, you can subscribe to NAWP, Not Another Who podcast. You can also listen to us on wherever you get your podcasts, if you just like to listen, you know. Sam has his channel, Ark in Space Productions, as well. You are going to be doing some political videos, aren't you?
Yeah, it's not current politics kind of thing. No. It's more history based.
Yes. Interesting history about the politicians that you don't know or may not have heard of. But it's it's worth checking out his channel. Links will be in description. You can also check out my website, keziahhydemedia.com. That is keziahhydemedia.com. Links in the description. And we are bringing out a new audio series called Keziah Hyde's Scary Tales, which is genuinely something new, something that we've never done before, but will be very interesting. And more information is available on the website.
Yeah.
I thought promotion. Let's promote us before we go.
We'll just plug all our outside Who stuff.
Yeah. All the socials, everything will be in the description. Thank you, Sam, for hosting another great episode.
And we'll see you next week.
Yes, in time and space.
For more Who-tastic episodes.
In
Goodbye.
time and space.